Hi, today I will show you how to set up the Let's Encrypt certificate in Oracle Cloud in high availability model. In high availability model, we will have application 1 and application 2. Both servers will be behind the load balancer. That in load balancer, we'll set certificate, we'll set SSL, and this will be behind the load balancer will be two application server, but those two application server will work over HTTP connection. In the first step, we'll generate SSL certificate. To generate SSL certificate, we require the Certbot. That will install the Certbot from the Python, and the Certbot will be available on your App 1 and App 2 server. Next step is to configure nginx. In the nginx, we will configure the location where always request from the Certbot will go to that location, not to our domain folder. The third step is to creating the certificate. And with the two commands, one command to creating the email address, and then the second command to create the certificate in the location of the Let's Encrypt and passing the domain. When we're executing the second command, the Certbot will call to the server, and then server will validate your domain. If that domain is as expected, it is yours. This is gonna make the call to your server over the HTTP, going to the folder structure of the Let's Encrypt, that well-known ACME challenge, retrieve the file which Certbot create, return back to the server, and then the process will issue for you the certificate. In step 2, we're going to configure the certificate in load balancer. That using the cert, create a cert, full chain and private key, we're going to copy those values to the load balancer configuration, create the Certbot, then we'll configure the 443 listener and open the port 443 from outside to inside. This will allow the traffic over the HTTPS connection and connect to your website. Let's do it. We are connected to application 2 server. Let's execute those three commands to install the Certbot. Okay, installation successfully done. Now we're going to nginx and update the nginx configuration. And in nginx configuration, we are adding the section for the Let's Encrypt for this domain, where we're defining the location, well-known challenge, and we're defining the space. So now, any request which gonna come with a well-known ACME challenge, it will be forwarded to data nginx Let's Encrypt folder structure. Save, close, restart nginx. Okay. Now, this you have to do on both servers, on application 1 and application 2, if you want to use both. In the case if you want to use just one, then you can configure this on one, but it's easier to configure it on both servers. This way, any request coming to either server A and 1 or 2 will be able to process those requests. If you want to configure it only on one server, then in the load balancer configuration, you have to manage this, and you have to put the rule that if the request coming with well-known, just forward to the back end to one server. In this case, I will configure this on both servers, that I can have requests to server 1 or to server 2. Okay, that configuration was done. Now let's executing the Let's Encrypt and register the email address. Okay, my account already exists because I already configured this before. Now after we register our email address, now we can create the certificate for the domain. In this command certbot, we want to just cert only. We specify the web root -w and location of our web root for that request, and -d domain name. We can specify multiple domain names if we want. Here I'm creating just for one. Enter. Certificate was successfully created, and we can see the certificate in the folder, in this folder. Okay, we have a certificate files. Okay. A certificate was successfully created. We have a certificate files available. Now we can go to the second step to configure the certificate in load balancer. Okay. In load balancer, we're going to certificates. The certificate, we have two options. The service managed certificate, where certificate is available globally for any load balancer which you have on your account, or the local manage. We're going to use the local manage, and we're going to add new certificate. OCI demo 3dns.net, and we're gonna put today's date to identify certificate. And here we can select the file, or we can paste the code. And I'm going to paste the code. Certificate code. Specify CA. This is full chain. And private key. And if you have a private key passphrase, you can use the passphrase, but here I don't have a passphrase. Add certificate. Okay, certificate is successfully created, and we have the file which is today created. Now let's go to the listener. We're going to creating the new listener. I will call this ls443. We're using HTTPS. Load balance. We're selecting the certificate source. Load balance managed certificate, and we're selecting certificate which we just created. Next, we're selecting the host name, backend servers. We can set up the routing policy and create listener. Again, it will take a minute or two for the listener to be created. Okay, we have listener created. Let's edit, validate. Okay, everything is as we needed. Cancel. Now, next step is to validate if we have a port 443 open to our application. We're going networking, virtual cloud network. Public subnet and the default security list. You may have a multiple security list, up to 5 of them. And here make sure you have in the ingress rules, you have the rule which allow everybody coming to your website over the port 443. This rule allowed the public access from everywhere to port 443 of your load balancer. And now let's access our site. Okay, website is available. Now we can test the SSL certificate. We use the SSL checker. OCI demo. Okay, and we have successfully installed the SSL certificate. We have a general information certificate expired April 10, 2023. Yes, it's matching. Issues for organization is Let's Encrypt, and we have the certificate, we have a chain, and we are missing just the root certificate. Now, when we are on the web page, we see the exclamation. We have a message that the page is not secure. Your content for this is not secure, like your connection to the private information is shared. Okay, this website contains content that is not secure, such as images. Okay, but now we need to work out a little bit on the page on the WordPress to make sure everything is over the HTTPS connection, and then your connection will be fully secure. Thank you for watching. This was the quick introduction how to set up the certificate manually using the Certbot and use the free certificate. In the next video, I will show you how to build the script which you can use to automatically update and renew the certificate every 90 days and update the load balancer. See you next video.